So, we're going to revise what we did last time, okay, but we're going to try different takedowns. So we're going to do the same sort of couple of slaps. Just the main thing, I want to bring his hands high, okay? So as opposed to the other stuff, like where I kick low and go high, I'm not trying to trick his mind. I want his hands high. So I want to go a couple of times. Remember, people don't like being touched in the face, right? Martial artists are all right about it, but we have to assume that we're fighting people that don't like being touched in the eye. So I want to flinch him out. I want to bring his eyes closer, start going for his face so he brings his hands high, okay? If I go down here, he's going to bring his hand low, okay? I want up here. I want him to think I've only got one strategy, okay? When he brings his hand high, I'm going to slap that hand down, underhook, and I'm going to come round and take his back, okay? If you're happy with that, I want you to do a lift and then put him down, okay? And then we go around the other way, okay? If you're happy with that, just stick with that. So slap, round, so arm drag like we did last time, and clinch. But with the clinch, bring the palm heels together, wrap around each other, put your ear on their back, drop the stance, okay? If that's enough for you to practice, by all means, focus on that. If you're not great at this, focus on that. If not, get to this. Everyone had a deadlift-ish, right? So do a deadlift. So drop your stance. Remember, if you do it from here, it's not going to work. You've got to drop your stance, drop the hips, bring your hips forwards, and lift with your legs, right? Arms, small muscles. Back, medium muscles. Legs, large muscles, okay? So I can either lift with the arms, the back, or the legs, yeah? It's far easier because the muscles are bigger, yeah? Got it? So either that or that, and then put them down again. Let's carry this on a little bit more. So still doing the same drill. So like I said, I'm not trying to catch him out. I want to keep him high. I want those hands, right? He doesn't know what I'm going to do. So I want those. If he's not going to give it to me, I've got to try and take it. So one round, okay? So from here, I want the hands low. Ideally, I want it in the, well, not in, because he's not squishy, but I want the squishy bit, right? I want it below the rib cage, where it's nice and soft. Drop and lift, okay? If I do it from up here, that's when I'm going to start leaning back and it's not going to work, okay? So when you get around the back, we're going to do a mat return, okay? So last time we were doing valley drops. So Greg was making a great point in his session about tricking the partner into what you want them to think you're going to do and then do something else. So with the valley drops, he was talking about lifting them up. So Hastings will naturally try and drop his body, and then I do the mat return. Yeah? I'm going to do the opposite in this case. Yeah? So if you remember that from the Sunday session, just apply the opposite to this. So when I get to here, I'm going to drop so that he tries to stay standing, and as I do that, I'm then going to do three things. I'm going to stand, or lift him up, step, and then put him on the floor, okay? So I'm not throwing him away. I'm not twisting, I'm not jerking, I'm not trying to throw him out the window. I'm going to lift him up, I'm going to turn to whichever side I want to throw him, and then throw him down. I've got to put all these three things together so that I can use momentum. If I don't use momentum, this will happen. Have I thrown him on the floor? No, I've shifted him like a garden gnome. Right? Here's the difference. Ready? Mm-hmm. And down he goes. I haven't done anything different, I just did it faster. Okay? Took the pauses out. Okay? So, if I do it right, the legs go off to the side. And he's going to land in a turtle. Okay? So he's going to land like that. If you land like a dolphin, it's going to hurt. Okay? So you're going to land like that. Okay? So I take the back. So I've done all of this. Round, lift, turn, and down. And he turtles. Okay? Just focus on that for now. Okay? In a minute, we'll look at what to do next. Okay? Just focus on that. So boom, round, through, drop, lift, turn, and down. I'm not doing this. Okay? And I'm not doing this either. Up, and then turn them down. Okay? This is not sustainable training. It's not this. Yeah? That requires strength, which is what we were just talking about. Yeah? I'm not interested in how strong you are. I could do this, or I could do half the effort and make him do the other half, okay? Which is that I pull and step, yeah? So I made him do 90 degrees, I did 90 degrees. What does that equal? 180 degrees. Now I got his back. So that's how I go from directly facing him to get in the back, yeah? And if I train it enough, and I do it swiftly enough, I've bought myself most of a second, because they're going, huh? How did he do that? How did he go from being here to being here in one swift move? If you train it enough, it can happen. Bought yourself most of a second to be able to pull off a valley drop, mat return, whatever you want, okay? So, not this, okay? Because what did I say about strength? If I tense, so will he. Okay, so if I do this and I pull, he's going to pull back. Yeah, and now we've got arm wrestling again. Okay, and if I tense and he tenses, I'm looking at that hand. Yeah, bang. Remember, this isn't judo, this isn't jiu-jitsu, this is martial arts. This is the general practice of fighting. I cannot disregard that hand isn't there. Okay, so if I go, come on, I want this arm. And he goes, bang. Yeah? I failed in what I wanted to do. He absolutely succeeded in what he was going to do. So I need to make this swift and get around the back. Okay? We're not changing the drill. Okay? We're just adding to this. So I'm keeping him high. I'm keeping him high like this. And I slap down like I'm round. And I valley drop. Mat return, sorry. So I draw, I come up, and I do. Now, do I do that? No. No. Yeah? For two reasons. Firstly, it's not good martial art practice. Certainly not good self-defense practice. Right? Self-defense practice. Back away, 3 steps. If this is fighting practice, he goes on the floor. Right? I do this. I put him on the floor. I don't know how sufficient he is at fighting on the floor. For all I know, he's going to roll over, face me, and he's going to wrap himself around me. He's going to catch my legs, drop me on the floor. For all I know, he's a high-ranking jiu-jitsu practitioner. I don't know. But I can't take that chance. Okay? So as soon as he goes on the floor, right, don't matter how he lands, right? Whether he lands in turtle, on his shoulder, or he might even react quickly, because maybe he does have a bit of experience of fighting on the floor. He might turn to face me. Either way, I'm going to pin, right? So I've done all of this. Down, boom. As soon as he goes down, I'm going to pin. Okay? I'm bringing my knees high. Remember, I want to go above the hip line. So I need to bring the knees up. Ideally, one of them by his head, and get my chest on whatever. So chest either at the top of his back. If he lands on his side, get on his shoulder. Because I'm now compressing the shoulder, which means I'm compressing his chest, which means I'm compressing his lungs. If he's smart and he turns to face me, fine. I'm going to land on his chest. Okay? But I've got to get those knees high, and I want to make him feel uncomfortable. Okay? So that's what we're going to do. We're going to add that bit to it. Okay? Do that a couple of times, and then we'll take this on even further. Okay? So I want you to focus on that element of the drill, which is as soon as you do a takedown, do something. Either get in or get out. In this case, I want you to practice getting in. We'll do getting out another time, right? But it's not about getting the pin. It's about getting those knees high and pinning the upper body, okay? 2 core jiu-jitsu principles: be heavy, get above the hips, right? So all good being heavy. If you're on the hip line, especially him, he's going to wrap his legs around me, okay? And I've got to do all that work of trying to get out of his guard, okay? We're going to do this 3 different ways, right? So if you go on in a turtle, so go on all 4s. If they land like this, okay, what you're going to do is control the position, get the feet in the hips, and try and get a dominant position. So ideally, if you get the seat belt, get those in and go heavy. Yeah. Lovely. Okay? If he lands like this. Okay? If he lands in the turtle, that's fine. Control it. Get the hips in. Get the seat belt like that. Go heavy, and it'll eventually fall over. Lovely. Okay? If he lands like that. So there's 3 positions. If he does this, so lie down again. but you're going to face away. So lie on your side facing away from me. Okay? If he does this, I want you to control him backwards. So use your body weight to roll him backwards, like kind of rolling dough. Right? I'm not going to pull him back because he's going to resist. So I'm going to put my chest on. I'm going to roll him back, and I want, and smash him in the face with my microphone, and I want this arm, okay? So I'm going to use my body weight, and I'll use my head in this case as well, and I can control the arm down, and I want to slip whichever the belt side arm goes through this triangle and meets the wrist that's grabbing his wrist, okay? So Jamie's head side has got the wrist, the belt side goes through and grabs the wrist, okay? I want the elbow on the inside of his head. I want to pin his head with my elbow and my knee, okay? We want this to be as tight as possible, okay? I mean, I'm already being heavy, which is making this fairly unsustainable for him, right? But what I don't want to do is start cranking at the arm. So what I'm going to do here is pull it in towards me. Yeah, he's already flinching. Okay? I'm going to pull his elbow down towards his belt and then lift it up. As soon as he taps, let go. Yeah? As opposed to doing it loosely and then I've got to fight for it. If you've got to fight for a submission, it's not working. Okay? Reassess the technique. Okay? So I've got control of that. Remember, I pushed it down on my head. The belt side has slipped underneath. If you've got that there already, brilliant. If you can, get it under the shoulder. If you can get it there, great. Under the shoulder, even better, because you increase that leverage by lifting your shoulder off the floor. Okay? I've got the wrist controlled. I grab my own wrist. So this figure 4 is on, but it's not tight. If I bring it into myself, that might be enough. It might be. Like the way I'm pushing down on Jamie, and I pull it all in, that might be enough. Yeah, he's thinking about it. I haven't even started it yet. Yeah? And then I bring his elbow down towards him, his own, yeah, he's going to tap. If it's not working, lift his own elbow up, like that, okay? So a good tip I was given once was, if this is the handle of a paintbrush and this is the brush, is you go down and then you lift the handle up, okay? So I pull it in, bring the elbow down towards his belt, and go, okay? So, if he lands on all fours, backpack, seatbelt hold. If he lands on his side, roll him back, but try and control that furthest away arm, because I want it. I don't want it to roll back and then I have to push it back down again. If he lands on his back, which he might do, if your throw is awesome, he spins around and lands on his back, or he reacts and turns around, I'm going to pin anyway. And as I pin, I'm going to pin that arm down and go for it, okay? If it doesn't work, use another submission that you know, okay? Don't stand there and go, like sit on them and try and make it work. Try something, yeah? Okay, Yame say, I'll just make a further point with this one. So, I'll borrow your second toe. If you go in the turtle, right? So if he lands like that, do what I was saying earlier about, just don't try and roll him over, just take the advantage of that, okay? We're assuming that this person knows what they're talking about, and they're not going to stay there, right? He is going to try and turn the face towards me. Right? He doesn't want to be facing away from me. This is a terrible position for him. So if I pin, and he's still, maybe that arm's sort of like underneath him, and he's sort of rolled over there. It's going to be really hard. I'm not going to get that arm, right? So if that happens, change the strategy, yeah? Then you do the pass through, you double grab, and then you go for a back take like we've done in previous sessions, right? Don't fight to make a submission work if it's not possible, right? Well, this is a scenario where this submission is available to us, okay? So if he lands like that, and I go to do something and he turns to face me, oh, brilliant, thank you ever so much. Yeah, that's what I want. So there is a degree of being an uke here, being a training partner. Don't sort of submissively go, oh no. And if that does happen, or maybe, like you said, maybe he's landed with that arm underneath him, then, you know, there's a degree of helping your partner out by being realistic, right? So I go to do something, he thinks I'm going to take his back, and he goes, oh, no, you don't. He turns to face me, oh, thank you very much, Tob. Okay? And then I crack on with the submission, okay? So I guess my point is, unless you land in the turtle, turn to face your partner, because realistically in this kind of training, you are going to turn to face your partner, okay? Make sense?
Yeah.
Okay, off we go. Thank you very much. We're going to flip the script. So let's do this. Yeah, go on, Tob. We'll do it again. So we're going to flip the script. We're going to do it twice. Okay? So I'm going to start, but I'm also going to finish. Okay? So I start, and I get the clinch. I come round, and I get the back take. Toby is going to grab my wrists, and he's going to jump and split my hands apart, and bam, right? But he's then going to take my wrist, he's going to arm drag, and he's going to take my back. Yeah? He does the mat return, so I'll go with it, because I'm down, okay? Now, this is where the flip scripts again, okay? So he goes to do, he takes the position, where's the there. So as he does this, I'm going to create distance, I'm going to get my knee through, I'm going to control one of his arms, and I'm going to go for a triangle. Okay? So we go back again. So over here, I want an arm. Okay? So if I control this one, for example, so I get through, and I swing my leg over his head. I want the other one. Oh, got that one. Get that one out of the way. There. Yeah? And I go an angle to him, hold on to this arm, kick him in the head with my knee, sweep it over, and squeeze, okay? So I'm flipping the script here, okay? So as soon as he goes for that position, I've got to create distance and get my hip in. So I want the distance, but I also want an arm, okay? And depending on what arm I get, will determine which leg I throw over. So in this case, I want this one. I need to kick that arm out, throw it over. I want to be as much of an angle to him as possible so that my leg goes across the back of his head, okay? Or across his shoulder line as opposed to down his back, okay? I knee him in the head. I put the foot in the crook of my knee and I push the heel down towards the floor, okay? You can even get the arm bar on as well, okay? So we're flipping, and then we're flipping again, okay? So I go, Jamie? So we're flipping and we're flipping, okay? So I start, so slap, round. I go to do it. He breaks my grip. He takes my back, and he does the mat return. Nice. And I got to turn to face him. Okay? I'm going to get the grip, create the distance. Okay? I'm going to slip through him. I'm going to hold on to an arm. In this case, I'm going to take the one that I'm on the side that I'm escaping from. Get the foot through, kick that arm out, swivel round, get that leg along his back, knee, and squeeze. Okay? If you're struggling with that, it might be worth just focusing on that. Okay? As long as you can control the arm. This took me a long time to practice, so if you're struggling with it, I get it. It's a really hard exercise to have a go at. If you get just the hip escape, that's cool, right? If you get the hip escape, so you bum shuffle out, get this knee through, and close guard, fine. That's plenty to practice, okay? But we're flipping the script, and then we're flipping the script again, okay? Same exercise, but we're simultaneously learning escapes to these exercises, okay?